Hello everybody. Have you ever been to the emergency room and they tell you, oh, we're going to get you back here and seen as soon as possible, and they say that with a smile so sincerely that you believe them, but then that as soon as possible turns into a 4 to 5 hour wait? And then ultimately, as a person waiting to be seen, you start to think, well, what are they doing? Why are they taking so long? Why isn't my health as important to them as it is to me? What if we can switch roles for a second? What if we can observe the roles that these nurses hold on a daily basis? What if we can be a fly on the wall, so to speak, and see how it's ran in the emergency room just for one shift? Seeing this will probably give you a better opinion. It'll probably give you a better perspective and understand the nurses' workload that they carry on a daily basis. Most hospitals are working understaffed. I've been in the healthcare field for 10.5 years, and I have worked for more than one organization. In every one of those organizations that I've worked for, I have worked understaffed. I have seen nurses work understaffed. As I read in an article written by Ronnie Jacobson in 2015, it's titled "Widespread Understaffing of Nurses Increases Risk to Patients." In this article, it states, a study published in The Lancet in 2014 found that an increase to a nurse's workload by only one patient increases the likelihood of a patient in the hospital dying by 7%. So a nurse taking on only one more patient than she normally does increases the likelihood of a patient dying in the whole hospital by 7%. With that being said, can you imagine being the patient to this nurse that has 6 other patients? Nurses are affected by being understaffed as well. It creates stress for them. It can ultimately affect their health. Most organizations that are understaffed, their nurses don't get to go to lunch. Their nurses are not able to take the break that they are entitled to by the state. And because they're not getting these lunches, later on down the line, they're fatigued or they're weak or their sugar drops, and they're ultimately not healthy enough to take care of the patient. So in the article that I read, Americans Are Working So Hard It's Actually Killing People by Esther Kaplan in 2014, it talks about a nurse that had not had a lunch. She had 10 patients, and she constantly called for someone to come and relieve her. She constantly called for someone to come and take over her workload so that she can go to lunch. Nobody never came. So this nurse working without a lunch or without a break, two of her patients were diabetics, so she had to check their sugars. She confused the results. So she ultimately gave the wrong patient the wrong medication, which led this patient to go to the ICU. Can you imagine that being you or your loved one, a patient to this nurse who hasn't had a lunch on a whole 12-hour shift? That's pretty stressful, not only for you, but for the nurse as well. I say this to say that nurses working understaffed has to be addressed. This is not something that we can just turn our backs to, which is why I have made it my goal to obtain this degree and get into the healthcare field as a health service administrator and address these issues. I will be working towards making whatever organization it is that I work for, making sure that they are properly staffed, and with the proper staff, meaning all staff should be dedicated to patient care. No one patient is more important than the other, and as long as the employees are dedicated to getting to patient care, then this is something we should be good at. I am looking to go into healthcare administration because I've been in it for 10.5 years, and to witness it firsthand and see how stressful it is to work understaffed, this is something I feel that cannot be ignored any longer. So with that being said, thank you for listening, and if you are going into healthcare field as well, I hope that we can fix the understaffed issues together.